All right. Appreciate you guys being on here. Yeah, just looking back at the game, obviously didn't wasn't the outcome that we wanted, and we've got 2 weeks left here to play and get back on track. You talk all the time, or we did as a team yesterday. Just every season's going to have some sort of adversity or things that might not go exactly as planned or the way that you want them, and ultimately your season's about how you respond and get back on track, and that's what we got to do here. It's not the first time this group or this team has been in this position, and we've played two good football teams. I don't believe that we've played to the level that we can play in. The teams that we've played have had a lot to do with that, and you got to give them credit for that. But we're excited about this week. You know, get an opportunity to go on the road, an Indiana State team that's a good football team, and do everything we can to get back in the win column.
Okay, thank you, Coach. And we're going to open it up for questions. We'll go first to Matt Varney.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I know you kind of mentioned this in your opening statement, but first question for me is, did Saturday's loss speak more volumes about how good Missouri State is, or speak more about where your team is right now?
Yeah, I just, every Saturday is kind of a season of its own. They obviously made more plays. I think when you looked at the critical downs, they were 13 to 20 on third down. We were 5 of 15, I think. Just when they made more plays, and we had the lead at halftime. It wasn't a sense of, was our team ready to go, or were they focused, or anything like that. Both these games we had leads at halftime, so our guys are ready to go and prepared, and we've had good weeks of practice, and ultimately you got to play 60 minutes. I feel like there's been stretches in both those games right there in the third quarter where we could either take advantage of getting a lead or answering and just recapturing the lead that we haven't been able to do. So like I said, it's two games. We have an opportunity here to finish out the season with some momentum and winning, and that's what we got to do. I mean, it's adversity is going to really reveal what type of team you have, and that's what I mean. Not only this game, I think this is our 20th game this year, this calendar year coming up. And we've been through plenty of adversity, ups and downs and things. So this team's resilient. We got to put that on display and get back on track.
Another rough Saturday for Javon. Everybody, when you put him out there, kind of knows now what you're going to do with him, and it's just kind of up to him to make the plays. Is there anything in the playbook that you can do to kind of open up lanes or give him an opportunity to do more out there?
Yeah, I mean, same question on here every week. I mean, we're going to try to get Javon involved, and we've got to continue to do that. If I had those plays, I probably wouldn't say it on here.
And then Indiana State's running back has been getting plenty of yards this season after this past weekend of giving up 200 plus on the ground. Is it paramount for you to stop their running back this Saturday?
I mean, each week is, like I said, I mean, I think we do a good job, just like you guys. I mean, I never pull up, what are the stats? You're going to watch the film. Where did those yards come from? How are they getting those yards? What's their game plan? Was it one big chunk play? Was it consistent yards? Were they down? Were they up? There's a lot of things. I mean, when you can get skewed, especially 10 games in, and just pull up the stat sheet and say that's not a really good indicator of what the team is. There's obvious things, but look, we want to stop the run. We want to stop the pass. We don't want them to have any type we got to be good in all phases. We've got to be good on punt. We got to be good on kickoff coverage. In these games, if you overemphasize one thing and you're not good on another, then you'll be asking a different question next week. We just have to play good team football and everybody do their job. It's sounds simple, but it's not that easy. So, all of us collectively in here have to do their job, starting with me and the coordinators and the position coaches. And then ultimately it's the players' job to go and execute that plan. And we're all in this thing together, and that's how we'll get back on track.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Matt. And we'll go next to Jake Siegel.
Hi, Coach. Good morning. My first question for you today is, knowing that you're coming off back-to-back losses, how are you keeping this team motivated right now?
I mean, it's not too tough to keep these guys motivated. You know, they have the chance to have the best regular season in the last 12 years if we win these last 2 games. So, you know, everything that we want to do is in front of us. You know, we got 2 more games. We've got to win 2 games. You got to win this game. That's the obvious thing. We're going to be ready to play just like we were, like I said, the last 2 weeks. We just haven't executed in critical moments to go win a football game. And but the motivation has just that's not an issue at all. These guys, they're, you know, obviously led by a lot of 6th-year seniors. Regardless if you go to the national championship game, your time as a college football player is winding down. So yeah, motivation's not an issue.
Coach, when you go back and you watch some of that tape and some of that film, what did you see?
Well, like I said, I think, you know, 3rd down, I think that the first 4th down, I think is on us as a coaching staff. We didn't, not the play call, I think is, we'd go back to doing that. I mean, it was a power play with an extra guy, but with that look, the backside wrapper's got to stay backside, and we didn't give them that look in practice, and that's on us to give them the answers to the test, and we have to own that as a coaching staff. You know, those are critical moments in the game where you have a good drive going. It's 4th and 1. You stay on the field, you go get points. You know, I think we've got to get back to just the physical. The physicalness up front on the offensive line of, you know, running the football. That was probably one of the worst rushing performances probably in the last 3 years since going back to maybe 2018. So like I said, I mean, every game there's going to be, you look around the country, there's teams that have lost a couple games in a row, and then you find a way to get back winning. And, that's what you got to do. That's what our job is. That's what I told our staff on Sunday when we met. I mean, it's easy to coach. It's easy to play when everything's going well, and you don't really need leadership when everything's just smooth sailing. You need leaders when things are tough. We got to do a good job of coaching these guys up and the players going out and executing.
Is it one of those moments where you, after seeing the tape, you kind of burn it and bury it? I don't want to see it ever again type of thing?
I mean, it's really just a pretty consistent routine around here. You watch the film, you dive into it, you're honest with yourself, you're critical of yourself, you know, you watch it with the players and you learn from it, and then you get to today. It's Monday, it's their day off. You know, we're in here late last night. You get going on a game plan. That's every Sunday. That's every coaching staff in the country. And then you spend all day today putting together a game plan. You staff meet in the evening times. You're here late tonight. You wake up tomorrow. You do the same thing. Then you get ready for practice, and just a cycle every week of what you got to do to get prepared to win the game. So once you get done grading that film and watching it, kind of put those behind you and you know, learn from those critical moments that we've got to be better in. Some of them are specific game things, but most of the time, like this week, is a totally different, really defensive structure. So, you know, mistakes you made in that game might not even show back up in this game because they're totally different. They create new issues that we've got to do a good job of showing them those type of things and preparing your team for this individual game plan.
And you mentioned a moment ago that if you finish with 2 victories, you'll have your best record, I think, in the last 12 seasons. And you mentioned how it was right in front of you. Do you feel a little, maybe a sense of pressure knowing that your goals are in front of you and they're still somewhat attainable?
we always have a sense of urgency and a pressure to win. I don't think that I've went into one game since I've been the head coach that, there's not a sense of urgency and a gut feeling that you have to be at your best and we got to win. There's never that. So I'll feel the same before this game as I did going into SEMO in week 1, in a rivalry game on the road, and can't lose that game and you can't lose this game. And I would say probably in the wrong profession if you have some other type of feeling. And there's a sense of urgency today. I think that's the life that we live as a coach. It's kind of what we talked about. It's a different profession, and you just kind of have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You're not going to get that kind of taste out of your mouth until you get back out there and get to play. And it's you put it in a ton of hours and you put in a ton of work, and you go through that routine, and you're in the profession that ultimately there's going to be a winner or a loser on Saturday. There's no in between, like, hey, both of you guys played well, good job, good preparation. There's a winner and a loser, and you put that on the line each week. And we're excited to go back out there and do that. The players are, the coaches are, and that's why we do what we do.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. And we'll go next to Todd Hefferman.
Nick, how would you describe the team's demeanor, I guess, on Sunday? I mean, were they angry, or are they pretty, pretty steady up and down, or how would you describe what?
I think it was good. I mean, like I said, I think maybe in coming years, frustrated, I would say, is a good word. That's how my team meeting, I said we should all be frustrated. There should be a consistent frustration. If you're sitting in this team meeting and you're not frustrated, then we've got to look at things you maybe shouldn't be in the room. But it's frustrated, disappointed, but you quickly have to have a resilient attitude of getting back up, and all we know is to get back to work. And that's what this team's kind of made of. I mean, when you think about our leaders, the Xavions and Bryce Notrees and Landons and all of them. I mean, it's not a lack of effort, or you don't see many bad attitudes down there or anything like that. There's a sense that we want to win, and we're going to prepare to win. And so I'd say that's where we're at. I mean, this morning meet with the leadership council, and they're all in there ready to go. Same attitude that they've always had. And so I look forward to preparing this week and get another opportunity Saturday.
I don't think you go into games thinking we need to get the ball to Tice or we need to get the ball to Avante. I think you're looking for the best opportunity. But I mean, how are you close? How close are you to getting those explosive plays for touchdowns? I mean, Avante had the one.
Well, I mean, we threw four of them to Avante on Saturday. Didn't hit any of them. You know what I mean? So, two of them in the first half on back-to-back plays. Had an opportunity. Got his hands on the first one. The second one we came into, he beat his guy, overthrew him by maybe 1.5 yards, which would have maybe been a touchdown. On the first 3rd and 4 in the second half, we would go on a drive that we ultimately kick a field goal. We get man to man. He slips him inside. I thought it was pass interference. He got yanked on his shoulder pad, but that's what I told him on Saturday. I mean, if we can design the 3rd and 5 play that gets Avante one-on-one and beating his guy, that's probably what we're going to try to create and scheme up. Maybe our best player one-on-one with someone, we're going to take that every time. We didn't hit those 4 opportunities, but I trust that we will in the future.
You talked about the physicality of your offensive line. After the game, you said our offense, we just don't have an offense that just mauls people. I mean, do you feel like you have to get creative if it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 right now? Or do you feel like you have, the short yardage guys to get that done on the ground?
No, I mean, we've ran the ball consistently, this entire calendar year, and we have to get back to having that. I'm saying, as far as if you just have watched our offensive philosophy, compared to a North Dakota State or someone, we're not lining up under center and running A gap power 12 times a game and being okay with just grind and 2 and 3 yards. That's really not how we're built. That doesn't mean we're not running the football on a consistent basis. We do have to get back, no matter if you're spread or you're under center, there has to be where we have to get back to and reinforce that. And it starts tomorrow in practice, is just at all 11 positions having a physical mindset of attacking. And, I think that when we went back and watched the film, there was times we could have finished and strained a little bit more, that it might not even have an effect on the play. Maybe you're a backside person, but it's a mentality that we've got to get back to having. We've had spurts and ran the ball and, at different times had physical runs at Northern Iowa and did some good things, but we consistently have to be able to do that if we want to go where we want to go and go on the road and win. You've got to be able to run the football, and you've got to be able to, look, Xavion's probably one of the most physical football players in the country, at left guard. And so I don't think Z didn't, he would tell you he didn't have his best game on Saturday. But there's no one in the world that I trust more as an individual and competitor than Xavion Furcron. So I'm excited for him to get an opportunity on Saturday to get back after it.
Indiana State's defense, they give up some big plays, but they're pretty solid. When you watch them on film, at least when I do, what's the best thing they do on defense?
No, I think they're a good football team. It's they're well coached and they play hard, and they do a lot of things on defense. Diving into them last night and this morning. They give you some different looks, a little bit different than they've been in the past. They didn't play last year, so they've had some time off to, whether it's personnel reasons or whatever it is, but more of a 3 down front, and they mix up their fronts. They'll still play 4 down, but some of the 3 down stuff that everybody's getting to seems like is a little bit of a consistent theme that we see quite a bit. And so, yeah, they do a good job of mixing it up on you. They play solid football. They've had some games that are kind of, that get away from them. The Missouri State game, it's really 3-0, Missouri State with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the half. And the next time that you see them get the ball, it's 24-0. It was, they dropped 2 kickoffs in a row, and Missouri State scored 14 points in the matter of like 2 minutes. So if things like that don't happen, they're consistently doing some really good things in the football game. North Dakota State, it's 16-0. They have a big drive and they can't punch it in from the goal line. And then, North Dakota State has a 97-yard touchdown run. If they punch it in, that's really a 14-point swing right there. If they can punch it in. So they are consistently playing well against every team that they've played against, and that's how we'll prepare. That's what the message will be to this team. We've lost 2 games in a row. I don't care who we're playing, Carbondale High School or whoever. We're going to show up to play and be ready to go.
Their starting quarterback went out. The backup has played a lot. How different are they when you look at them? One's a lefty that can run it, and Wilderman seems like he's a little bit more of a pocket guy.
Yeah. Early in the season, it seems like they were, not set necessarily on one. So they were, so they both got experience. They're both different. I think what you said is probably, the scouting report on those guys. So there is some differences in them. We've got to be ready to go for both of them. They're coming off a bye. We'll prepare for them having everybody that they at their disposal and ready to go.
Forgive me if this is a stupid question, but do you attack a lefty differently?
Not necessarily as far as your schemes, but you really just watch the player, and what their strengths are and how they're trying to call the game for those guys. Obviously some pressure packages where you want to bring pressure from where he's looking might change with a lefty and a righty. But other than that, I mean, as far as the structure of your defense, probably not.
Thank you.